having a tech talk, and we have Williams with us. He's a Microsoft software engineer. And then I'm sure Kafi would introduce him and tell us more about him. But then before that, I'd like to tell you what Cradle is, what we do. So Cradle is a gamified program that validates the skills of students and early graduates by providing opportunities, internship opportunities, projects, programs like this, and our coaching program. So you get to pick up projects and then you accumulate points. And what we're saying is build experience and confidence with that. I would like us to. I would have loved if everybody could just, unmute their mics and tell us who they are and where they are joining us from. But unfortunately, time is not on our side. So I would love it if we all do it in a chat. But then, by the way, my name is Stefan. I'm a community manager at Crado. I work with Victor, and then also I have Kafi, who is also one of my community leads. But Kofi would be introducing who our guest speaker is tonight. And then, hello, Kofi, do I have you?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Good evening. It's another Friday, Cradle, and I'm happy to introduce our next Cradle coach, technical coach, we do. It's lovely to have you here, Williams. As Stefan mentioned earlier, Williams is a software engineer at Microsoft. He's a teacher at heart. William can go on and on and on about a technical subject and never gets tired. He loves coding more than food. And he has done so many things in terms of supporting the community. He'll give a bit more detail about that as he talks about himself. He loves to play soccer, games, and he's a fun person to be with. I am very happy that he's joined the community to be a coach, and I'm sure most of us will benefit from him. So, William, once again, thank you for joining the Crado community, and please tell us a bit more about yourself.
Thank you, Kafui and Stefan. It's lovely to see everybody here. My name is William, like they have already introduced. I like to call myself like a programmer, simply that, nothing more than that. If people are curious, when I started loving the work I do, that's probably around 10 years ago, I think. And since then, I've been trying to solve lots of problems, work with different teams, and do a bunch of stuff. And now I think I prefer helping people, and Crado is one of the projects that I've tried to contribute a lot to, which has been very fulfilling and very nice as well. So it's very lovely and very nice to meet everybody here and also contribute to the community. So Kafi, I hope that is enough for an intro.
Yes, thank you very much, William, for the intro. And going through his profile, there's one thing that William said, and I think it's worth sharing with the community. There's a statement. William mentioned that with dedication and hard work, you would win all form of favors that you would like in life. So again, William, thanks for sharing that nice part, that piece with us. Thank you very much. Do I have coffee? Okay, I think hi coffee, do we still have you? Yeah, I think you're muted.
Sorry, I'm back. Some people have their mics on. Can we all turn our mics off when we are not talking, please? Okay. All right. So, William, just as you say, you wanted this to be very conversational, and you'll try as much as possible to answer some technical questions and probably take some offline. So, this is the chance to get started. Yeah.
Yep, I'm all in. So Ready when you are.
Okay, I am ready. Stefan, can we pull out some of the questions that were raised before we give the chance to the in-house guests also to ask their questions?
Sure. So I'm sharing my screen once again.
I see you, Felix. Don't forget to drop your questions in the chat. Hey.
So since this is an interaction section, we're going to jump straight to the question. And then, William, in your profile, you talk a bit about how you hold a degree in telecommunications, but then you found yourself in computer engineering anyways. John is asking that as a BSc computer science student, can he become a software engineer? And if yes, what does he need to be learning most this time now?
Okay, that's a very good one. So let's pick it in two parts. The first one, the answer is yes. Computer science and computer engineering is designed to make you become that. So with computer science, you learn the science of computers, which means you pick up the whole area, not just programming, but maybe you pick up networking, database administration, system stuff, and you try to cover like the whole spectrum. You can spend some time in one area, which is like programming, and then you can master to become a very strong software engineer. Or you can pick any of the fields which you feel very comfortable in.
Okay.
But I think if you want to, maybe with respect to your second question, if you want to really succeed, you have to change your thinking from learning languages, learning topics to solving problems. That is a big mindset shift that you have to start looking into. So when you go to school and you are being taught concepts, start asking yourself, why do I have to learn this? Why is this even there? Right? Why is there peer-to-peer network? What is it solving? If are there any scenarios that a peer-to-peer network cannot solve that I need something more? And why do we need to do something? How do we even do that? So that kind of thinking will really help you to like succeed and become a very strong software engineer that can work anywhere. So maybe that answers the second question too.
Yeah, I think John, I don't know, John, if you're here, kindly give us say shout outs in the chat box. But then I really I think it's quite important that you ask yourself why you're learning, what you're learning, and all that. Moving on to the next question. Kwame is also in a different, I would say, setting like you were before you went into um, computer science. And Kwame is saying, I want to go into administration, but in tech. What is the career path? Is there something like he can do with administration, but then in the tech world?
That is a question I'm not so clear on, but let me see if I can provide some pointers. So right now, the tech world is breaking up into two parts. Um, Unlike the regular field where you have like an administrator who sees to everything else,
Mm.
you don't seem to have that in the tech world. We have like two tracks essentially, and you can see that with Microsoft, Google, Facebook a lot. You have the PM track, and then you have the engineer track. I'm not saying these are the only ones. There are others. You could go into the network track and whatever, but these are mainly the two tracks that happens. So the engineers actually build stuff. They pick requirements, figure out what is supposed to be built. They know how to do it, and then they go in and do it. The PM track is a bit different. The PM track can be as diverse as possible. A PM can be a project manager, a product owner, or just a regular manager, at least from the outside. And that is why it's difficult to say you want to be an administrator. It will be a bit weird. So it's more like if you want to be a program manager in the tech world, then you have like different branches you can actually focus on. You can go in like with the project management stuff, you can go in with being a product owner, or you can pick one of those managerial aspects of tech and then you can launch yourself in. It's very doable, and most people are actually doing it right now.
Yeah, and I think
Mhm.
Kwame is coming from more of a business management perspective. So maybe Kwame, you can be looking at all these areas as in a PM, a project lead when it comes to the tech world. Okay, so moving on to Robert. Robert is asking, how do I balance work? I mean, I'm thinking this is more of as a software engineer and then, career development. Now I have, become a successful career, I'm sorry, a software engineer, but then I also want to progress. How do I have time for both sides, career and then my work and then my career development?
That's a good one. The easiest to succeed with your career is to work with your manager. So,
Mm,
for example, if you are on a team, your manager knows everybody's progress, and your manager very much understands how to track your progress over time because he has been looking at that information, that data. So, let's say I'm on a team where I have two senior engineers, one junior, including maybe me, and maybe a
mm,
few mid-level engineers. How do I go from a junior to a mid-level to a senior?
mm.
The manager can really help you because your manager knows what he expects from seniors, what he expects from mid-level, and then what he expects from the junior engineers. And so your manager can tell you, I know why you haven't reached the next level because you haven't taken on role A, role B, role C. And he could even encourage you and put work in such areas like to your table. So it becomes easier for you to now practice and grow into those roles. And that's why I said that your manager can actually be very helpful in that. The other person that can also be very helpful is a mentor. So if you have a mentor that is very advanced, they could share with you their career path and how they got there, the steps they took, the
Mm.
challenges they faced, and they could give you very good advice as to how you can break the next level and actually grow on the career path. So you don't necessarily have to say, I'm working and I don't have time for my career. Your work should be in line with your career, and that's something you can work with your manager. Tell him by 6 months' time, but 1 year time, I want to be a mid-level engineer. So I want to be given tasks that can help me get there. Work that with your manager, and then in time you'll get there. If you have a mentor or a coach, talk to them openly, explain what you do right now, let them give you the benchmark, and then help you get there in time. That's
Okay.
life easier.
Yeah, and Bob Ali coming very soon. But then, William, you're talking about how managers can help you grow as an individual in the tech world. And I want to ask, what if I don't have a very enabling work environment where mostly my work is, let me say, mechanistic? I do a particular thing, and that is it, and that's all my manager looks out for. So there's no huge room for improvement. How do I as a person take my own steps, and what route should I take as far as career development is concerned?
So in the past, it will be a bit difficult because yeah, we don't have like anything like open source, but now we have open source. So there are people building software outside. There are teams actually doing things for free outside. Try and join like a community, a group. It makes it easy for you to know what is happening out there and for you to also play with a group that is a bit advanced that you can grow with.
Right.
So that's one way. The only thing you have to keep in mind is if you put a flower in a room, a flower needs a sun. And a flower in a room means that it's limited, it cannot grow, it will eventually die. So the flower has to find ways of going outside. If your current company is not helping you, I would start with talking with my manager first to explain that I really need to grow, and I don't think I'm having enough like to play with here to help me grow or to get to the next level. Is there ways or like opportunities that he can like show me? That's one. Two, go outside, find open source projects, talk to experts outside, and try and see if you can contribute to something or work with a team outside, like your immediate group. And that will give you like a very good level, like playing ground to level yourself up.
Okay. Bob, would you like to come in with your question at the moment? I saw your hand up, and if you want to ask anything. Hi, Bob.
Yeah, hello.
Yeah. Hey, Bob. We can hear you.
Good evening. Yeah, okay, so I'm the one who asked the question that you just asked, William. Thank you very much for addressing that for me. I want to follow up with a different question. That's what if he's not a developer, the manager is not a developer? How do you handle that?
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess that's most of it's like the root cause of most people not growing as engineers. Yeah, and that's a real scenario. But I think you need to find ways of empowering yourself and growing. The reason why people cannot grow is they do not know what the next level looks like, right? So even if you tell them find ways yourself and grow, they're like, how do I do that? How do I get there? I don't even know what the next level looks like. One thing that I did in the past was talk to people that I felt was already there and then ask them, okay, if you hear of a mid-level or a senior engineer, what do you expect of them? Then they give me like what's maybe their requirements. I think a mid-level engineer is somebody that can pick up a project, run it on their own. At least if I give them a task, I do not have to handhold them. I know they will deliver that task. A senior engineer is somebody who has drive and leadership. When he's on the team, we see his impact. We know he's driving the project in this direction. When we have issues in that area, he will just unblock us in a few minutes or maybe days. He's somebody we can trust and rely on. A junior engineer is somebody we are trying to help and we're trying to coach. Once you have these benchmarks in place, it becomes easier to now ask yourself, where do I fit and how do I get there? And I tell people that the simplest way is if you think your immediate scope, your manager, your work role is not helping you, look for people outside and deal with them because they will actually give you the help and you have to grow too. So if you think I have to make my manager do this, it will never happen. Just go out, find the people that can help you get there, move with them, ask for help. Sometimes you can even book like a professional mentorship session and spend time with them. They will unblock it, they will help you, they'll make a clear path to you, and then it becomes easier for you to go there. The other thing that has also helped me was that I built projects myself. So, for example, I wanted to learn iOS development. I knew React Native. I knew how to do Xamarin for .NET. I knew lots of these cross-platform stuff. But I wanted to be specific. I want to learn how iOS work. How do I get there? I pick up a project that I think is useful for me, and I try approaching that project, building it. And in that learning, I have like maybe 2 week session with iOS experts, and I talk to them about the problems that I faced and how I handle them, and ask them to see if that is the right way they would have handled it, or do they have better suggestions for me there. And that's really helped me get like much more deeper knowledge than just a shallow knowledge that I would probably have like be getting. So I don't know if like this is very helpful for a person.
Okay. William, talking about the senior and junior developers, how do you grade that? Is it based on experience, number of years, the number of projects, or like how?
If you ask my opinion, it has nothing to do with years. But then years will eventually count because years come with experience. For some companies, it's more with years. Yeah, if somebody has done something over time for like 10 years, they are very good at it. So that's a senior. But there are two types of seniors that you have to think of. There is the people I will call the generalist, and the others I will call a specialist. A specialist knows one area very well. They have done it for years. You can't take it out from them. They are very solid in them. A generalist is somebody who doesn't know too many things, but once he gets into an area, he knows how to find his way around. He is able to drive himself from the problem to the solution. And that is also another type of like people that are also seniors as well. So in Microsoft, for example, on some teams, sorry about that, on some teams, managers want to get a blend of these two types of people. The people that are specialists in specific areas and the people that are generalists and can help unblock lots of problems for us. And they're all seniors. The key thing is that a senior is one that has leadership qualities. He can lead. So in whichever area he picks himself in, he can lead the entire team and solve the problem that we are facing in that area. It could be whether he knows it or not. A mid-level is one that is, we can give you a task. You will find your way around. You will do it. A junior engineer, we have to handhold you a little. Even when we give you a task, we need to help you know how to do it or how to get there. Or it may take some time for you to kind of like get there. Some companies variate like how they define these things, but generally, this is a definition I would perhaps like give for the three rules.
Uh, great greetings, Williams. I think Frederick wanted to ask a question. Frederick, you can go ahead now. Hello, Fred. You are muted. If you want to ask the
Hi, William. Hi, everyone. How are you?
Good.
Okay. Just I have a question. I am from an accounting background, and I'm looking to transition to the technology space. And I've identified that I saw that on the internet, Google or Microsoft was offering courses related to data analysis and data science. And I just wanted to ask, like, what would be the starting point for someone who has really never had any form of experience other than using a computer, your conventional programs like your Microsoft Excel, accounting related programs, and all those other things? I mean, what other courses could I take just to give me like a foundation before I can like move on to those kind of courses?
So, hmm, let's see. There are too many courses, and I always try not to endorse one and say this is the best one that I use. This is the best one among the rest. Um, but let's pick your use case. You want to do data science, right? Um, what is data science? You probably want to start from there. What is the benefits of data science to community? Like, what does it bring into us? Why is the world so crazy about it? Is it because of the money that data science engineers are getting, or what? So you probably want to start from there. Read more. Make sure you understand what you are getting into. Now,
Mm.
as you read more, it will expose to you different areas. Like, for example, why do most data science people talk about Python? Why? What is so nice about Python is pushing people into Python and then trying to learn Python before getting in there? The reason is simple, is because most of the tools for the analytics in data, like in data, are built with Python right now. It doesn't mean other languages don't have them, but at least the larger portion of the tooling is done in Python. And so it's easier to get there, or to like, it's easier to start from that area and then go from there. Now, the reason why I'm thinking in this direction is if you start putting your mind or your thoughts, like trying to understand why, how, you'll be able to figure out what to learn and how to get there. You don't necessarily have to go like, I'm going online, I'm picking data science course, because some data science course may assume certain things about you, certain basics that you already have, which you may or may not have. And the best thing that would help you is to go through the content and figure out whether you really need that or not. You could learn Python, but that Python you learn will be in no way helpful to you as a data science engineer in the future, because you have to now learn the new libraries for data science. But if you are a bit more targeted and you're able to figure out the why and the hows around the whole concept, it's easier for you to pick the right courses, or even when you search the courses online, it's easier for you to pick the right ones and not waste too much time in getting into that field. I don't know if that helps. That's more like a high level thinking from me on the topic. I don't know if that helps.
No, it definitely does. I think you've given me a sort of like a good starting point in terms of what it is that I need to do. So no, that is a good answer. Thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Okay, and then we have Jerry. Jerry, your hand is up. Would you like to ask William any question? Can come in now. Okay, so I think as we wait for Jerry, I could come up with the other online questions. We have Emmanuel, and Emmanuel is asking two questions. The first question is, what should make what should make you think that you are ready to call yourself a software engineer? Like, what are the indicators that actually prove that you're a software engineer? And what do you have to know and do before you start looking for a job position as a software engineer? So basically, Emmanuel is asking about what are the indicators that actually stand out and makes you a software engineer?
There has always been one indicator to me. You have to solve problem. You have to solve the problem. Everything that the company is paying you for is for you to solve a problem. The customer comes, tell you, I'm running a hospital, as an example, and I need to serve patients better. And I need to be able to look at my patient's record. I need to be able to move my patient's record from one department to the other with no cost. I need to be able to look at what my business is doing when I'm at home. These are all problems that people are facing. Can you solve them? If you can, then yes, you're a software engineer. Or if you can solve them with software, then you're an engineer. Not all software need like an interface. As you see, you have somebody looking at like the screen on your Android phone or your iPhone or whatever, or maybe on your MacBook or your Windows, and somebody has got like an app. That is not the only type of problem that we solve. There are much deeper problems. For example, somebody built Linux because there was a problem. And the Linux kernel was also a solution to a problem that was also like around. So the moment you can solve problems, then you call yourself a software engineer. And together, you need to start learning how to solve problems. You have to get out of the thinking of learning programming languages. Think of programming language as the tool that you need to solve the problem. But then the core thing you need is to solve the problem. And as long as you have tools that helps you to solve problems and have validated yourself in one way or the other, then why not? You're a software engineer.
Great. We have questions coming in. I'll give the opportunity to Ansong. Hey, Ansong, you can unmute and then fire off.
Okay, hello everyone. Thank you
Hi,
very
Ansong.
much. Yes, please. I want to know, Mr. Williams, is there anything called software solutions? And if there is, what does it really entails?
That is a good question. So the trick is that most companies use the word solution in specific context. So let me give an example. Some people call them solutions engineer. Others call them like a different role. One of such role looks like this. I walk into Amazon, and then I tell them I have a business. My business is that I move things from Ghana to Europe to US and to other places. And every day I'm processing around 1,500 shipments. And my inventory keeps growing every day or every 2 days. And there are a bunch of other rules that I could be given. I want to know if AWS can help me, or if Amazon as a company can help me solve this problem. And if they can, how? So given such a scenario, a solution engineer, I don't know how, they have different names based on the company. They come in, they take in the requirement from the customer, and then they evaluate the technology that they have, and then they help you understand how the technology that they have can really help solve that problem that you have in there.
Okay, thank you very much. And another thing too is I want to know, is there any course for that? Is there any field of study for that?
There is, depending on what solution you want to be architecting on. So for example, if you want to build stuff on AWS as a cloud provider, they have, it's been a while since I did them. So they have the developer certification, and then they have 2 more certifications where you learn how to use moving parts in the AWS ecosystem to solve problems. If you want to work with Microsoft Azure, they have something similar as well. So depending on where you want to go, you have to pick that area and then get the certification like required there.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
So let's move on to one of the questions we had earlier, and then we can take a question from the live audience. So we have Asari, and Asari is asking, software solutions. Do you have a training on that? I desire to set up a software solution center. I don't know. I think it's quite similar to Song's question, but then the person has a desire to set up a software solution center. What could be the pathway, Williams?
Okay, so the person wants to open a company in Ghana?
That's my question, sir.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Was that answered already, or do you want an answer?
Yes, please. I would like to have an answer.
I think there are a lot of such ones around. There are a lot of companies that try to take requirements from people and figure out what a solution looks like, and then try to build it for them. But if you want to build one, I think I've attempted it twice in Ghana. The first one was a big failure. The second one was a bit of a success, but not too much. The thing you need most, one, you need to have enough funding to support senior engineers, not just any engineers. Because if you want to solve real problems, you need people that can solve it. And for people that can really solve problems well, you need to pay well. And that is not something most people have or can afford. But if you can afford that, that is a good step.
Wow. We'll think about it.
Yeah, but that's a good step. If you want to own one yourself, then you need to be a very good problem solver. You need to have a wide range of skills, because in a solutions company like that, the problems that come vary. People are coming from the hospital space, social media, a lot of like areas coming in, and you have to have like a wide range of technical skills that you can vary around and solve like a vast amount of problems. Else you'll be in a
All right. Thank you very much.
Yep.
All right. I think I'll let Frederick come in with his question. His hand has been up for a while. Hi, Frederick. What do you want to ask? Okay, we still don't have Frederick, but Bob, your hand is still up. Would you like to ask another question?
Oh, no.
Okay, all right, great. So then let's take another question from our community. This one is from Hannah, and Hannah is all about, the cash, the dough. How much, and I am interested in Hannah's question as well. How much do software engineers take? How much? How much is it worth? I think everybody's interested in that question. I'm more interested in it. I'm always liking the money questions. People don't usually like asking them, but I love them.
So there is a trick that you have to know. There's something we call cost of living, and I know the business people here, or maybe the finance people here, know. I don't know whether I'm using the right terms, or the economic. There is something called cost of living, and in every country there is an index for that, right? So it's been a while since I did the calc, like I looked into the figures from Ghana, but the cost of living for Ghana could be, as an example, I'm not saying it for a certain, it could be relatively high for Nigeria. But in any country, software engineers, if they are respected properly, should be around the top 75, like above the 75th percentile, if I'm using the right words too. Like it should be around 75, 80, 90, somewhere up there in the stack. Mostly in Ghana, I know people get around 1,002, which is like very appalling, to be very honest. And it's a shame that some people get paid that for being a software engineer and solving like actual problems on a day-to-day basis.
Are you talking about a month or for solving a particular project?
Yeah, I'm not saying that is what they should earn, but I'm saying people get that for a month, like on a monthly salary.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah, which is a shame, to be very honest, and that is not what they should be paid. But for advanced countries, you get paid a lot. I wouldn't say a lot, like I'm telling you my salary, but I think you get paid a lot, and it's among like one of the high-paying jobs around. So yeah, but it still boils down to the cost of living. So if you are getting, let's say, $10,000 a month in the US, you don't expect to get the same amount of money in Ghana, because the cost of living varies from the US to Ghana. So you'll be around there, but you'll still be paid quite some amount.
Right. Okay, so we'll take just some few questions from the community members around. I think we have Nee. Hi, Nee. What's your question? And let us know if you have any questions. Okay, Nee, probably. Okay, hi, Nee. Yeah, you can ask away. Oh, it's not Nee's hand. It's rather Anson. Sorry, Anson. Hey,
All
yeah.
right, thank you very
Sorry.
much. Please, can I say that software engineers have a narrow career opportunity space? Because it looks like if it's not Microsoft, unless you set up your own business, if not, maybe the telcos can come for you. Their
Sorry?
options are really countable.
Come again with the question. Did you say narrow or did you say like a wide?
No, I mean narrow because if you're not setting up your own thing, if you're not doing your own thing, bringing out solutions your own way, it's either you go to Microsoft. And if it's not Microsoft, unless the telcos come for you, the likes of MTN, the Vodafones, if I'm wrong, I'd like to know if there are more opportunities like that.
You use Ghana as a benchmark or is in the world as a benchmark?
Exactly, just Ghana.
For Ghana, I can't say much since I haven't been around for a while. But I know some companies in Ghana at least pay better. I wouldn't say they're
Yes, and
like
there are
better.
few.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. But I can't say much for Ghana right now. But I I think if you're an engineer and you solve problems, your playground should not be just a small place like Ghana. You probably want to think bigger. And I don't see anything wrong with that if you think and dream bigger than that. So just hone your skills and if because if you build a Microsoft Word, people in Ghana are going to use it. Definitely people are going to benefit from it. If you build a Microsoft Teams, people in the world, including folks in Ghana, are going to use it. So it doesn't mean you are like producing products for the Western world and living like your home country. You are still building something that people from your home country are also going to benefit from. All right.
Okay, all right, that's fine. Thank you.
Okay, and then
You're welcome.
I'll move to Frederick. Then before I get to coffee, uh, moving to my boss last is a deadly, step. But I'm ready to take the risk. Hi, Frederick. What's your question?
My question is, in terms of the fourth industrial revolution that everyone keeps talking about, how far is Africa? I know that Africa is always behind in everything compared to the rest of the world. So, how far are we in terms of like international standards? And another question that I wanted to ask is there a greater need for technology startups on the African continent, or is there more demand for um, skill sets in the IT sector, like your software engineers and your program developers and your computer architects and all that? So those are my three questions.
Okay. I don't know. Let me see if I can remember everything. If I miss one, just remind me. Let's pick the first one. How far
Okay.
behind is Africa?
Mm.
Well, from like for me living outside, we are a bit behind. Like there are simple technology that happens here that seems to amaze me. It's simple one has to do like to give a typical example will be delivery, right? Everybody has in the post box, everybody has an address, and it's easy to deliver things to people. Uh, in Ghana, that would be a very difficult problem to solve. People are trying to do delivery services, but to be honest, it's a very difficult problem to solve. And I have a friend, like two of them, who were trying to get into that space. And when I get to talk to them, it's really tough. But delivery should be a very simple thing, essentially. And if it's solved properly, uh, most companies are going to thrive and people are going to do really well. Another thing has to do with internet. It seems to be like the basics of how like going through your usual day, like day to day. Over here, I pay no internet. It's part of my rent. It's fairly even cheap. But back at home, people complain. Internet is very expensive, and internet becomes a big deal when you are working or when you have a company. These are like major problems in Africa. It's not easy. Let's take just internet. It's not easy to say internet is cheap right now. So how far I can't say for certain I can give numbers because I wouldn't say I am the expert in that area. But maybe moving on to your next question, I think there are a lot of opportunities coming up. For example, I can talk because I know more details from Microsoft's. But there is the Microsoft Lagos. There is Microsoft Kenya. That's the Kenya Nairobi ADC, which just this year my team has been hiring over 100 engineers from there. There is also the South Africa branch, and I know Facebook and Google are doing something similar. And now there's going to be what I call the Twitter boom in Ghana very soon, and it will go like into other African countries. There has been news that the Nigerian government is pairing up with bigger giants like Microsoft to do some digitization stuff, and all these things are happening. There are a lot of engineers in Africa who now the world is recognizing and seeing as very great potential. And with such big companies with very good funding coming onto the continent, I would say the future is really great and things would improve. But as to when, as to how, I don't know. I don't think I'll call myself like the expert in that area. For more skills, yes, I would say so. Like there is a need for more people to be engineers. Reason is that right now, everybody is seeing the benefit of technology, and the larger population are trying to rely on technology on a day-to-day basis. And people have to build and also maintain these tech. So there will definitely be a need for people to come into the field and help grow the ecosystem and make it even better and invent even more. But as to when, how, I don't know. I don't think I'll be the expert in that area.
And this is where
Hello.
Yeah, okay. Ansong, go ahead.
Yes,
sorry,
please.
I wanted to add something to what William said.
Yeah.
So the ball is in our court. As community members, we need to specialize. You want to venture into tech. Pick a path, stick to it. Don't do the booga booga generalist approach anymore, because we have attracted the attention of the big tech companies. And if they can find the talent here, they will hire elsewhere.
Yeah.
Then someone from a Ghanaian or an African in the diaspora will get the job, and then will come to Ghana and take the job. Then you are here, you're not getting anything. Then you complain about being paid 2,000 Ghana cedis, 1,000 Ghana cedis, because you're not honing your skills. So we just need to, like, it goes back to us. You need to scale up to prepare for the opportunity. It's not too late. The future is bright. But I have a question though, but I'll leave Anson to ask his question before I.
Okay, thank you very much. Please, do you have any relationship with AI and virtual reality?
Is it, are you asking me as a person?
Yes, please.
I have played with AI, artificial intelligence for a bit. I worked on, I wouldn't say it's more like enterprisey, but it was more of like a fun project with some friends where we built that was a bit intelligent in figuring out how conversation should be and how it should respond to people by learning a pile of like documents. We used a tool. It's been a while. I have to check what tool we use. Maybe I can follow up on that later with you. Where we feed that tool. It's a Microsoft product actually, where we feed that tool with lots of documents, and then you can ask the tool like any question on the document, and it's going to help you. And the reason why we were playing on that project was to be able to build some form of intelligence in a company. Like when we have new people joining the team, they have lots of questions. When customers are trying to work with the team, they have lots of questions. But most often these questions are already in existing documents that we have already. If we had a tool that keeps learning these things, then it becomes easier to sort and help people out with some of these questions. So that was one area that I played in. I also tried in trying to do some image recognition, but it's more like I know how the APIs work, but I haven't necessarily played there. The other tool that I built for myself was when I traveled and I first came to Norway, as an example, I was struggling with the language. So I also built a tool that takes pictures. I take pictures of things I want to buy. It scans through the pictures, picks out the text, runs them through a translation service, and then gives me the translation back in English. I wouldn't say that is much huge, but that is also some bit of like artificial intelligence.
That's nice. That's great. Please, a quick one. I'm saying this because I have understudied VR devices and in the VR revolution. it looks like a time is coming would have more of these devices around, because the likes of YouTube, PlayStations, and even normal movies, they are now generating their ways into a visual reality. And
Yeah.
in Ghana, Achimota Mall and other places have virtual reality studios there. You go there to watch something, a horror movie, and then you see it so real. You know how they react towards it. They find it fun, and then they see it to be a bit educative. Another one too is my father's friend is an engineer, a land one, but with his, they were introduced to VR devices. So the land is bare, they have the device, and then with the device, it shows them the finished work on the land. Meanwhile, the land is bare. They enter the room with the device on, they enter and they are opening doors. Meanwhile, it's a bare land.
That's smart.
So with this, I've noticed VR is going to be something worth studying, because in hospitals it helps people with psychiatric problems, with people with disabilities when it comes to their emotions and their cognition. So
Yeah.
with the VR, where do you start from? Where do you move to? Because I really desire to do it. I even did a Google questionnaire on it, and I had a lot of people, answering and saying they want it. They can pay 100 CDs for a movie just because it's VR and they are the only person watching it, and they see it so real. Yes, I want to know the starting point and then the procedure.
To be honest, that is a field I wouldn't say I'm an expert in, but I do have friends. So normally, because I have friends like in areas like that, it's easy to fall on people. And sometimes within the company, there are also people that you know. For example, the Microsoft team in Nigeria does VR entirely. So if you find people from that area, they can actually help you know some of the tooling that they've built and how they got into that field. And that could be like a very good starting point for you as well. Um, I do not know about Google's Africa Adventures, but it's possible one of some companies around are trying to do it, and maybe you can start understanding them, contact them, reach out to them, and yeah, they could be like some good inspiration.
Thank you very much. And then I can start with you. So we'll talk at the back door.
Well, okay.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Um. All right, Coffee. I think we're ready for you now.
I think there's a question, Emmanuel Oku. If I don't know if I've answered that, kindly, what's your area of
Area of
expertise?
expertise.
So that is a fun one. Do I have one? I don't know. I think I have done too many things. I've done too many things. I have played, like I just mentioned, a little in AI. I have played in mobile. I have done cross-platform. Have done Android. I don't think I've done Android too, but I've done like iOS at least to some extent. And then I've been like a DB admin before. I've done networking when I was like being a Ghana boy, trying to catch up on everything, some small networking stuff. I call myself a generalist, at least now, because on my team, we are more full stack and we pick up on different areas. But I don't think I am an expert. Like I would say now I'm an expert in web and mobile development than in any other field. But the other fields I have probably played that, so it's easy for me to maybe jumpstart myself on projects here and there. And at Microsoft, I'm a software engineer, so that should probably answer you.
Right. And then what's your current role at Microsoft? Emmanuel is asking
Yep, I'm a
currently.
software engineer. That's all.
Okay. All right.
Software engineers are, yeah, we at Microsoft, like some people can call it SWE or just as SE, whichever way they call it. It's just the engineer role. So
Yeah.
we do a bunch of things.
Great. And if you want to contact Williams for more questions, more explanation after the session, we have his Twitter handle in the chat box. He's do_Willie, and then you can check him out. But you can also post your questions and tag Cradle. On Facebook, we at Cradle. On Twitter, we at Crado X. On LinkedIn, we at Crado, and on Instagram, we at Crado. So you can post all your questions, and then we'll definitely forward them to Williams for you. I would like to go to Samira. Samira, you can ask your question, please.
My question is for Crado, not Williams.
A good one.
All right. All right, Samira, yes, ask away. Let's see if Kwado can help you.
Okay. I I couldn't help but notice this is not the first time I've joined a cradle event, but it seems you lack women in your community. What's the problem?
We have lots of women in our community, and a lot of them register, but we don't get much coming. But then, yes, now that you draw our attention, I think now we'll specifically encourage the women in our community to join our session. But we have loads of women in our community, especially on our Telegram page. Okay, Coffee, you can come in now.
Samira. Samira, why are you putting me on the spot now?
What's the problem?
The women, they
You
registered.
and I have had this conversation multiple times, so you know
Yes,
why I'm asking.
I know
Because
why.
our conversation is based on all the questions that Williams just answered.
Yeah,
And the people who should hear it are not here.
yes. So we have the recording. We'll tag them. All those who missed the session, we'll tag them, send them the copies of the recording so they can listen. And then the next one, we'll give them incentives. We'll give out some cradle points or do some cradle giveaway.
I tell you, that doesn't work either.
Say what? Say again.
That doesn't work either. I've tried.
I know.
Incentives don't work.
We'll keep trying. We'll keep trying and see how it goes. That one is a beast. That's hard to solve, but nothing is impossible. Yeah, William, my question for you is about tools. Most of our community members are junior level developers, or some are like aspiring to become developers. What tools should they use? What platform should they use? I know you said solve a problem, but solving a problem when you don't really know where to start. When you did you employ in class, you pass your exams, but then you can apply whatever you learned in the classroom. They will need something like more definitive on how to get started. So please, can you give us a summary, and then they'll follow up with like one-on-one sessions later on.
Okay. So let's see. If you want to solve a problem, you need a problem. And sites that do give problems in a very nice way. A typical one that I've used and that I love so much is Leads Code. Leads Code is used to prepare for interview questions with the big techs, or most of the advanced companies. But I think I like the way they structure the site. Like they present to you the problem, and you have to figure out how to solve that problem. You can use whichever programming language that you think you are more comfortable in. So that allows you to start thinking of problems than just learning the programming language. And the reason why I think Lead Code and similar sites are also very good is they also train you for the interviews. So if you want to join these big techs or these companies and you want to interview with them, you would have had the basis of how interview questions are being asked, what kind of problems are presented in those interviews, and you would know how to solve. So I think Lead Code is a very good one to start with. And then tools, let's see, just Google. Yeah, Samira, that's a very nice, that's the one I'm talking. And Prompt is also a very good one too. Just Google. Google's like the simplest and easiest tool around. But the problem that people have with just Googling is that they just Google, see the answer, and then they are okay. That shouldn't be the problem. You should ask yourself, why is this the answer? What are the other edge cases that I didn't think of, and how do I get there? The moment you start thinking from that perspective, you get to understand the solution at its core, and you're able to better appreciate the solution that is being shown you. So yeah, these are tools that I think people should start playing on a lot. Like, oh, somebody complained they can't if they can't solve the beginner challenge. Don't worry, it's easy. Learn to crack that, and the day you crack those beginner questions, you will have all the rights to dance alone in your room with all the trophy. But it's a very good tool, honestly. People need to start from there. Start from there.
So in this case, you're saying that they need to solve a problem using these platforms, but then they have to have a base. They need to have some foundation in it, some sort of programming language. So for a beginner,
so let me be very blunt with you. If you want a programming language that is very good and very good at its job, I would say do C++ or C, right? Maybe C++ because I love it so much. But that is not the reason why I would say go learn C++. It's a bit difficult to at least get started with. So the problem is like, if somebody asks me what programming language should I start learning, I find it difficult to answer that question. But then I want to ask people, what do you love doing? If you were to look around you and you are to solve one problem around you, what would you solve? Would it be building an app on your phone, or will it be like building an app on the web to solve that problem? If you think you are falling in love with like web applications that you see online, then it's good to now narrow yourself to like the web like platform and say web works with JavaScript, HTML, CSS, and maybe some of these shiny like single pages like React and whatever coming up. But then it's good to now start from that area and then get to know how they solve the problems in the web and how you can get started like in that area. If you think you love mobile, then just get started with the mobile tools. If you love like iPhone stuffs, learn Swift UI. It's a very great tool that they've built right now. Like I just looked through the documentation. It's a very fantastic like framework that they've built. Learn Swift UI, and then start building things on the iPhone, on the back, and on the tvOS and all that. If you think you love like Android stuff, then go in that area. And learning the programming languages is not the problem, because once you learn how to solve problems, you can learn as many programming languages as possible. You don't have to say JavaScript is the one that you have to learn. I always tell people that, okay, well, I love JavaScript because it's easy for me. But then if you want to build like embedded systems and you love that area, C++ is the way to go, because that gives like the best performance. And you're able to build like very awesome stuff as well. So look around you, see what you have a passion for. Do you love web applications? Do you love mobile applications? And then depending on where you are, pick the tool, the language there, and then start going into it. Yeah, assembly. It's also like, it's very nice. I never understood assembly language. I never did. So that is how I would answer that question. I wouldn't say pick this language over the other one, but look at yourself, which area you feel comfortable in, get the tools around that area, and then start learning from there. Once you learn one programming language and you can solve a problem, trust me, you can easily learn different languages without worrying yourself about syntax and how, like, those things are like things you can spend like 30 minutes to 2 hours finishing. So.
All right. It's been a very interactive section. I think it promised to be so. Kafi wants to come again. Hi, Kafi. Another go.
I think there was a question from Felix.
There was a question from Felix. Okay, maybe I can.
I had a question. I didn't know I had a question.
Felix, you have a question first.
You raised your hand.
You just want to hear my question, right? Okay. So, what do you think are the key attributes, especially for those who are just starting off as engineers, to be successful? And not just at becoming an engineer, but to become a top engineer and even start your own company in the future.
Yeah, you're my boss, so I don't know how to answer my boss a question. Let's see. So 2 things: problem solving and then people skills. So you will definitely work with a team. You can't carry the whole world on your shoulders. So you need to know how to work with a team, how to work with people. And yeah, if you are very good at it, then even if you're not too skillful, you will know how to leverage people around you to get the solution out, which is also very good, because what customers care is not which engineer built it, but what customers care about is the product there, is it solving my need? And as long as you can leverage people around you with your people skills, that is a good thing. If you're a good problem solver too, that is awesome, because your job is to solve the problem, make things work for people. So if you're also very solid there, then I guess these 2 will make you successful. Sometimes it takes hard work, and I tell people, as long as you put your heart into it, you will definitely succeed. So just don't give up when you meet like blockers and when things are getting tough and it's a bit difficult. Sometimes you get a problem and you rack your head. It's like, I just can't see the way out. It doesn't mean that's the end of the world for you. There is definitely a solution. If not a solution, there's a workaround for you. So just keep looking, keep asking, leveraging people around you, leveraging everything you can, and once you have that hard work and that drive, you definitely succeed. So hard work, problem solving, people skills. For me, it makes sense.
Cool, cool. That's good. I'll also add two things. I would say innovation is one of it, and then execution is the other one.
Yep.
So innovation, when you're thinking about innovation, is, and I'm thinking more from a product perspective, is thinking of what problem, yeah, what problem you're solving. So like William said earlier, learning these software skills is not just to learn these skills, right? Is to use it to be able to solve problems, whatever the problem is. If the problem is for a customer, then you're solving the problem for the customer using these tools. If the problem is for a company, then yes, the same thing. You are using these tools to solve the problem. So that should be the main, your main focus is what tool do I need to be able to solve this specific problem. Now, there's tendencies for people to learn, like, every single language there is out there just because you're curious, which is good sometimes, but also you want to focus on like specific tools that you can use multiple times, right? So if JavaScript is something that you want to focus on, then focus on that and see how you can use that to solve all the different problems, right? If NoSQL is the backend tool that you want to use, then focus on that, right? Don't try to do too many, because it is very easy, because every day there's some new tool that comes out that people like, and people are talking about it, and if you get carried into that, then you're losing focus. So just of course you want to learn as many as you can, but like have like specific ones that you are really, really good at, so that you can use that to solve the problem. And that goes back to that second one, which is the execution. So being able to actually execute to that innovation that you have, right, to solve the problem. So that takes, of course, the technical skills, but then also a lot of what they call grit, meaning you are pushing through it to solve problems, right? It's very easy to give up, especially when you have a bug. Or have another call, but hold on. Yeah, so especially when you have a bug that you're trying to resolve, and that happens not just in software but in real life too. Make sure you don't give up easily. You push through it. Even if you do fail, which will happen, get back up and then keep going. Okay. Because I've learned that usually some of the best things usually you have to. It's hard to get. It's not easy. Don't go into software engineering thinking it will be easy, because you won't make it very far. You have to go in there thinking it will be hard, but then the rewards are also high, right? Okay, that's what I have.
Well, thanks, Felix, for sharing that.
You.
What?
All right. Since we have our dev community with us, there's some internship roles for junior devs with skills in Flutter, JS, MongoDB. So if you want to take up on any of these roles, you can just fill the form on our page, kraado.co. I'm sending that to the chat box. And then, yes, you can reach out to us on kraado.co, join as a student, fill the form, and then we'll get in touch with you. It's been a really interactive session, and I think the questions, as I said, are incessant because tech is, I think we all identify with it. Everybody loves to go into it. We all love to make work easier. We all love to solve problems, and to me, that's all that technology is about, solving problems in the most innovative means as possible. So I am not surprised that the questions just kept coming in and coming in. But then again, time is not on our side. So I would say we're going to close for today. But then if you like to ask any further question, I've shared William's Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn with you. Again, you can tweet us on Crado at Crado X on Twitter. And you can check us out on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn, or at Crado. And you can also check us out on okay. Yeah, sorry. So if you want to ask any other question, you can further it to um, William's social media or Cardo's social media. Cafe, do you have any other additions?
No, we're good.
Okay. All right. Have a wonderful night, everybody, and thanks for
Before we
joining
go,
us.
sorry,
Yes,
before we
Felix.
go, I just want to say this was very good. Very good job, Williams and CTO and
Never
Kafri.
credit.
You guys are doing really well. This is good, because I think this is for you guys. For me, I want to see more of us succeed. I'm here in the U.S., but I'm very passionate about things happening in Ghana, and technology, software development skills. Those are things that I really care about, and because I see those things as helping the continent
Yeah.
and the specific Ghana grow. So I'm really happy to see this. Though there's not as many people on there, but the ones that are on there are very engaged, right? Which is most important, right?
Yeah.
So hopefully you guys use all the skills that you've learned from all the things that you've learned from this and apply it in your future going forward. All right.
All right. Thank you very much, Felix. A little pat on the back. Thank you very much. And then, yeah, so on that note, I would like to say good night, everyone, and see you on our next Quadrilet session. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Samira, bye.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye.